Have you ever looked at your life, examined your past relationships, your friendships, or even your family dynamics, and realized a terrifying pattern? Almost every relationship you enter feels less like an equal partnership and more like a rescue mission. You are always the strong one. You are the listener, the problem solver, the financial safety net, and the emotional rock. Meanwhile, the people you attract seem to be in a constant state of crisis. They are emotionally unavailable, financially unstable, or fundamentally broken. You pour your energy, your time, and your soul into fixing them, hoping that one day they will heal and finally be able to love you back the way you deserve. But that day never comes. Instead, you are left completely exhausted, drained, and wondering, why does this keep happening to me? Am I cursed? The short answer is no, you are not cursed. You are caught in a psychological loop known as a trauma bond. Today, we are going to unpack the deep psychology of why fixers always attract broken people, and more importantly, how you can finally break this exhausting cycle. To understand why you attract these types of people, we first have to understand what a fixer truly is. Society praises you for being a fixer. People call you reliable, generous, and incredibly strong. But behind closed doors, psychology tells a very different story. Being a fixer is not a personality trait. It is a trauma response. It is a coping mechanism that you developed very early in life. Most fixers grew up in environments where love was conditional, or where their environment was highly unpredictable. Perhaps you had a parent who was emotionally volatile, sick, or absent. As a child, you unconsciously realized that the only way to feel safe and the only way to earn love was to be useful. You learned to read the room, anticipate problems, and solve them before they exploded. You became hypervigilant. You learned that if you could manage the chaos around you, you could prevent yourself from getting hurt. You tied your entire sense of self-worth to your ability to solve other people's problems. If you are not fixing something or helping someone, you feel a deep, terrifying sense of emptiness and anxiety. You fix others because it distracts you from facing the unresolved pain inside yourself. So why do the broken, the chaotic, and the toxic people gravitate towards you? It is because human relationships operate like a puzzle. We do not attract what we want. We attract what is familiar to our nervous system. This is a concept in psychology known as complementary pathology. You are an overfunctioner. You take on too much responsibility. Therefore, you are naturally going to attract an underfunctioner, someone who takes on zero responsibility for their own life. To a broken person, you are the ultimate prize. You represent an endless supply of energy, forgiveness, and resources. They do not have to grow up, they do not have to heal, and they do not have to take accountability for their actions, because they know you will step in and do the hard work for them. Your deep psychological need to be needed perfectly matches their deep psychological need to be rescued. It is a match made in heaven, but it quickly turns into a living hell. You mistake their dependence on you for love. You think, if they need me this much, they will never leave me. But being needed is not the same as being loved. Being needed is a job, and it is a job that will eventually destroy your mental and physical health. This dynamic inevitably creates a trauma bond. A trauma bond is a powerful, addictive attachment that forms between two people through a cycle of intense highs and devastating lows. When you first meet the broken person, they might make you feel incredibly special. They tell you that you are the only one who understands them, the only one who can save them. This spikes your dopamine and validates your core belief that your worth comes from rescuing others. But then, the reality sets in. They let you down. They relapse into their bad habits. They manipulate you, or they withdraw emotionally. You feel betrayed and exhausted. You swear you are going to leave. But right as you are about to walk out the door, they throw you a crumb of affection. They apologize. They promise to change, or they have another crisis that requires your immediate attention. Your brain receives another hit of dopamine, and you are pulled right back into the cycle. This intermittent reinforcement is the exact same psychological mechanism that keeps a gambler addicted to a slot machine. You stay, not because the relationship is good, but because you are addicted to the hope that one day your investment of pain will pay off in the form of their transformation. The hardest psychological pill you will ever have to swallow is this. Your fixing is not actually helping them. In fact, it is hurting them. When you constantly jump in to solve their problems, pay their debts, or soothe their emotional outbursts, you are stealing their opportunity to learn from their own consequences. In psychology, this is called enabling. You are acting as a shock absorber for their life. Because they never have to feel the pain of their own poor choices, they have absolutely no incentive to change. You are working overtime on their healing while they are not even clocking in. And deep down, your subconscious knows this. Your relentless desire to fix them is actually a disguised attempt to control them. You think that if you can just fix them, make them healthy, and make them stable, then you will finally feel safe. You are trying to mold them into a version of themselves that will stop causing you anxiety. But you cannot control another human being. You cannot love someone into their full potential if they do not want to do the work themselves. You are treating a grown adult like a project, and humans are not projects. Breaking free from this cycle requires a radical shift in your mindset. It requires you to do the one thing that terrifies a fixer more than anything else. You have to do nothing. You have to learn the art of stepping back and letting things fall apart. When someone you love creates a mess, you have to let them sit in it. You have to establish absolute boundaries. Boundaries are not about controlling the other person. They are about protecting your own peace. You must redefine your self-worth. Your value as a human being is not determined by how much trauma you can carry for someone else. You are worthy of love simply because you exist, not because of what you can provide. The next time you feel the urge to jump in and rescue someone, pause. Ask yourself, am I helping them or am I managing my own anxiety? It is time to retire from the rescue business. It is time to take all that fierce, protective, healing energy you have been pouring into broken people and finally direct it toward the one person who has been waiting for you to save them all along, yourself. Let them fix themselves. You have your own life to live.